have been following me on Instagram, you know that I'm currently running a 31-day journaling challenge in the month of January in order to help you get into a journaling practice. The reason why I do this is because I really believe in journaling and it has absolutely changed my life, and I want you to experience obviously the same thing. I want you to reflect, I want you to set goals, I want you to learn and to grow and to be more aware of the things that are good for you, and also obviously be more aware of the things that are not so good for you. One of the questions of that journaling challenge was the following: make a list of life lessons you would tell your 5-year younger self. I really loved that question and it really got me thinking, and I went ahead and sat down and wrote about a couple of different things that came to me even before I published the journaling challenge on Instagram and obviously YouTube Shorts. So it was a day or two before the year ended, and it was a really cool way to just kind of finish out the year and reflect on all of the incredible things that have happened over the last 5 years, because 5 years is about the time when I started this business. It's also the time in 2018 when I felt super overwhelmed, I was stressed out, I was commuting 8 to 10 hours a week between the Bay Area, Silicon Valley and Lake Tahoe. And I was in a job that I didn't like, I didn't feel fulfilled, I didn't feel really connected to my manager. I wanted to do something else, but I didn't know what I wanted to do, to the point where I burned out. And it took me about 3 months to kind of recover. I took a 3 months medical leave at the time, and I really reflected on what do I want to do. It was the time when I actually went for my first coaching certification. So a lot of cool things happened during that time, and obviously over the last 5 years. And the reason why I am recording this video today is because I wanted to share these 5 things with you that I came up with, in the hope that if you are feeling a little unmotivated or uninspired or stressed and tired, or maybe not very hopeful with your life right now, maybe you're going through a really difficult time and it is really hard for you to see kind of the light at the end of the tunnel. So anyway, long story short, let's jump into my 5 key learnings over the last 5 years and the things that I would tell myself. Hi, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Arndt and I'm a peak performance coach and stress management trainer. And if you've already listened to my somewhat long introduction here for this video, I'm glad that you are here. I'm glad that you are taking the time. I'm glad that you are curious to learn a little bit more about me and about where I was 5 years ago and what I have learned in the last 5 years. The first thing that I wrote down as a key learning that I would tell my 5-year younger self is: don't worry about your financial situation. That was honestly one of the main reasons why I had a very hard time to leave corporate America, to leave the tech world, because I was in a very cushy, very comfortable situation, and I had a lot of benefits, I had a great salary, I had great stock options, and I obviously left a lot of these things on the table as I left and started my own business. And so one of the main fears and one of my main challenges and objections to taking that step was my financial situation. Of course, because I was used to a certain lifestyle and I was really afraid that I would never be there ever again. And also, a lot of people kept telling me, you're never gonna earn as much money again as you did at Google. And you know, I had at some point the realization, as I was actually commuting back and forth and I was driving a lot, that you know what? That's actually their limiting beliefs, but I believe I can actually do better, do even better, make more money, which I actually did do now. So yeah, the first thing that I would tell my 5-year younger self is: don't worry about financial security. Your life is gonna be abundant, you're gonna flow, and money is coming to you in all amazing kind of ways, and just don't worry as much about that. The second lesson then that I wrote down to myself is, I'm actually going to read it to you because I think it is just powerful to also hear the words that I'm telling myself. And so the second learning and the second lesson was: invest in yourself, love yourself, spend time with yourself, heal yourself, believe in yourself. Don't focus so much on other people, but on your own happiness. And this is obviously a really powerful one, and I know that we always talk about it, and you know, it's always easy to look at other people's lives and they talk to you about how powerful it was to invest in themselves and to heal themselves and to forgive others. But it is truly such an important and such an amazing work that you can do for yourself. And honestly, as a peak performer myself, I was always extremely focused on what other people thought of me. I was always extremely motivated by external validation and appreciation, and that is what kept me going. But obviously it didn't make me happy in the long run, because I didn't feel really love within myself. I had a lack of confidence, I had a lack of trust in myself, and I would always kind of look outside of me to get that, right? Which is obviously very unhealthy, and I know a lot of us are doing that. So no judgment. Obviously, there is a level of us where we are just human beings, and all of us like to hear from our partners and from our family members or from our managers that we are needed and that we are loved. And I think that's still obviously important, but sometimes it can derail a little bit and can get unhealthy, okay? So in the last 5 years, I've done a lot of healing, and I have done a lot of believing in myself. Obviously, as you are building a business, you need that. If you don't believe in yourself, if you don't trust your own capabilities, how are you going to show up to others? How am I supposed to talk in front of 100, 200, 300 people, right? Those are all things that have happened over the last 4 years and that I'm super incredibly proud of. But I don't think that without my inner work that I did at the time, I would have been where I am today. And I'm very proud of that and very grateful for that as well. The fourth lesson that I wrote down is that there is a healthy level or balance of control. And that again applies both to my professional life and also to my personal life. Let me talk about professional life first. So obviously, you know, in this process of building my business, it's been very challenging, obviously, at times to manage everything on my own, right? I think especially at the beginning, you know, I wanted to learn everything and understand everything myself, but it was a lot. And I think over the last year especially, and you have heard me talk about this in many of my Plan With Me videos if you have been following my channel, then yeah, you know, in the last year particularly, I really started to give up control, and I started to open myself up to getting more help, and that's really helped me financially as well. You know, I think we can always just be as abundant as we are believing we are worth it to be, and at the same time as we are also bringing more money into the market and letting that energy flow. I, by the way, just read this incredible book by Amanda Frances called Rich as Fuck. And I love that book, and it resonated so deeply with me, and I think it's something that I've been really working towards over the last 5 years. And so letting go of control slowly but surely was really good for me. Personally, again, you know, I think as a peak performer, I like to have control. That makes me feel safe. It makes me feel secure. And in my professional life, honestly, that has always worked out pretty well, because, you know, I'm a super structured person and I'm a super disciplined person, and I like to know where everything is going and all of the things that are happening. But in my personal life, I think I made the big mistake over the last 5 years to try to control my partner or try to control the outcome of our relationship, and that was very unhealthy, and it didn't, you know, as you know, again, as well, if you have been watching my videos, it hasn't ended where I wanted it to end. It ended in a breakup and me being very heartbroken. And through the process of that healing, I really realized I controlled the situation. I tried to have a really tight grip on this, and it didn't serve me at all. And I think sometimes we are obviously guided and kind of we are in this grip of control because we are scared and we are guided by those feelings, but it's not a good way, obviously, to be in a relationship, and I kind of had to learn that the hard way. Let's say that much, right? And so that was one of the biggest lessons that I wrote down for myself, was that I need to let go of control. There is a healthy balance, right? Obviously, you need to trust your partner and you need to feel comfortable, and at the same time, you just need to open up to whatever is coming your way. And people change and situations change. And anyway, long story short, one of the biggest things that I learned over the last 5 years, and the thing that I would tell my 5-year younger self, is to just let go of that control, let go of that fear that things have to turn out a specific way, because there's so many other possibilities in this universe, and they are sometimes even better than what I could have ever imagined. Lesson number 4. I obviously wouldn't be sitting here and wouldn't have recorded over 400 YouTube videos over the last 4 years if I wouldn't absolutely believe in mental health, and that's not always been the case. 5 years ago, I was obviously burnt out and I didn't really know very much about mental health. And so I would say to my 5-year younger self, start to invest in your mental health. Mental health is important. Start to learn what that means and understand that your physical health is connected to your mental health. I think I always subconsciously probably knew that because I was working out a lot and that made me feel good. But when I got into this really unhealthy stress cycle, I stopped working out and my mental health suffered because it was still subconscious and unconscious. Now I obviously know how much everything is connected, and that it is really, really important to pay attention to your thoughts and to your feelings, because your thoughts and feelings are all little signals and little signs that you should pay closer attention to how you're actually feeling. And a lot of you have told me as well that oftentimes the best thing that you can do in the moment is to ignore these feelings, because you don't know what to do with those thoughts and feelings, or those thoughts and feelings are super scary, or you feel like other people will judge you if you will take a medical leave, or if you will take a mental health break, or whatever it is, right? Or, you know, we don't want to be honest with ourselves. Let's be honest, right? We don't want to look honesty in the eye and say, you know, I really pushed myself too hard and it's ended up in a not healthy way. So mental health is so important, and obviously, again, over the last 5 years, both in my professional life and my personal life, mental health was incredibly important, and it also incredibly suffered as I went through my breakup. I think that always shakes us, right? And yeah. You know, it took me a long time obviously to heal from that, and you know, I actually promised myself that in 2023 I'm not going to speak about this experience anymore, because I don't want to bring it into my life every single time, and I don't want to talk about the past all the time. So this is officially the last time I'm talking about this, but you know now, right? You know that I've had that experience, and it's okay, right? We have these traumatic experiences in order to propel us forward, and obviously at the time it was incredibly difficult for me to see that. And now I am sitting in this beautiful house with my new boyfriend, and I couldn't be happier, and my life has shaped out exactly the way it was supposed to. But it just took me a while to see that. So investing in your mental health and talking to a therapist on a regular basis, or having some sort of a support system in place in order to help you with that, is so crucial and so elementary if you want to be successful in your life. And then finally, lesson number 5, I would like to read that one to you as well, because it's really beautiful. And I wrote down the following: you are a lot more powerful and capable than you think you are. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise, and cast a shadow on your beautiful light. I love you. I mean, what else should I say to that, right? That's just kind of what came out of me at the time. And you know, I think we are always so afraid of what other people think, and we are sometimes afraid obviously of our own powers and capabilities, and we don't know, right? We are in this space sometimes, right? And I was in that space for a long time, 2018 to 2019. I was so anxious and so stressed and so fearful, and went through all of the different options, thinking about, am I making the right decision? Am I taking the right step, right? And it was so scary. It was so scary to leave my corporate job and to start my own business. And I should have just trusted myself. I love what I do. I love building this business. It's so much fun, and I am a lot more capable and powerful than I think I am. I think there's still a lot more potential. And so yeah, that's kind of my 5 lessons that I would tell my 5-year younger self. As I said, maybe this inspired you to sit down and to reflect on 5 things that you would tell your 5-year younger self, right? What have you learned? How have you grown? What is something that maybe you still want to look at? Maybe you are still in the process, and that's okay as well. You don't have to have all of the things completed, right? I'm still working on many of the things that I shared with you today as well. And it is a continuous process of learning and growing and reflecting and challenging yourself. So I hope that you do that as well, for your own sake and for your own mental health and for your own wonderful, beautiful growth and development process. Thank you so much for watching my video today. If you liked it, give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment down below and say hi. I always love to hear from you. So again, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.